finally getting around to doing the brake upgrade on my 1999 Impreza 2.5RS. I've had these parts laying around for a while. I had the calipers I got locally, I sourced them locally, rebuilt them a while ago. And the rotors I got from R1 Concepts. I'm gonna do the very well-documented, very common 4-pot, 2-pot upgrade, right? Meaning the fronts will get 4-pot or 4-piston calipers, and the rears will get these 2-piston or 2-pot calipers. I will start with the front because the front is very straightforward. It's literally a matter of unbolting the original caliper, and the upgraded calipers mounting points line up exactly to the 2.5RS's mounting points. So there are no adapters, there's nothing fancy. It's really unbolting the caliper, disconnecting the brake line, and then pulling the rotor off, putting the upgraded rotor. So for instance, you can get 2006 WRX rotors, bolting up this caliper with the pads, and then reconnecting the brake line. And since we're removing a brake line and reconnecting, we'll have to bleed the system afterwards. But again, the front is straightforward. The front uses factory parts. We will address the rear brakes in a separate video. Undoing the two 19mm bolts that hold on the caliper. Top one's kind of a little tricky to get to because there's interference from the bolt that holds on the strut. So now the caliper comes off. So here's the bolt that we have to do next, which secures the banjo fitting on the brake line here. And then the rotor will just slide right off as well. So the bolt for the brake line, undo that. I have a container underneath to catch the leaking brake fluid. And again, because we are breaking this line, or removing this line, we will absolutely have to bleed the brakes when we are done. Here's the old caliper, which is also full of brake fluid. Rotor off. And you can see this, the dust shield has seen better days on this car. I might replace that, not right now though. So I'm going to clean this up a little. So here's a comparison off the car of the components we're swapping out. So this is the OEM front rotor. Okay. And this is the upgraded, so this is a WRX spec rotor. So we can compare the size difference. There it is. So it's a little beefier, a little bigger, as you can see. So the rotor's a little bigger. And then caliper wise, this was the caliper we pulled off the front of the 2.5RS. And it is, so there's no pistons on the outside and there's just the two on the inside. Okay, so that's the factory North American 2.5RS front piston or caliper. And here's the 4-pot, which came on the later WRXs. So you can see pretty substantial difference. Pistons on the inside and the outside. And the one thing I did want to show you, if you look, the mounting points, those mounting holes, let's see if I could hold it. They are exactly the same. It doesn't look it because the top one's closer, but if I do it this way maybe. They are exactly the same. So you could just remove these calipers and these rotors and replace them with the later WRX spec rotors and calipers. So I've just manually started the two bolts. Snug them up. One copper washer on each side of the banjo bolt. Go. So, pretty straightforward, right? So if I'm going to replace my pads, so I would go in with my next set, slide them in. I just fired that one in way too far. What you do is come in with one pin, start on the outside, pin goes through the hole in the pad, and you can see this hole here. I'm gonna go through that hole at the bottom corner of the pad, so I gotta line it up, and then it went all the way through, okay? So now, we do the same thing. So if you look at it, it has this hook piece, so the hook kind of hooks on that one, and then you swing it up, and these pieces here apply pressure to the pad, and then this one will hook onto the top pin. So we will install the top pin. So again, got to line up the hole. You'll see that this one's in a little, so we got to kind of help that out at the same time as hook that guy on there. And through it went. You just come in, and here's a better look at that wire retainer. So it has two bent ends which go into the holes in the pin, and then this little hook in the middle, which goes into this hole right here, which you can see, to locate it. So that goes into that hole, like that. So you may need to take like a little pick like this to kind of index the hole in the right location on these. Okay, so I'm using the little pick to index the hole on the retaining spring, put it in, hooked it in the center there, and then put this one right there. And our caliper is loaded. So there it is. So one side done. Really simple. You know, the two 19 millimeters taking off the factory caliper, swapping over to the WRX components. This is the R1 Concepts GEOMET coated rotor. I have the R1 Concepts pads, the OPTIMUM OEP series that went in nicely, and then reconnecting the brake line using the same bolt through the same banjo fit. And that's it. I'm going to do the other front side, and then we will address the back, which is definitely more complex.